Hey everybody, it's January 21st, 2021. Thank you so much for joining me here. Let's talk about some things today. This economy continues to worsen, and instead of a recovery, we are seeing a decovery. I'm not sure if that's a word, but we're going to use it today. Today is more signs of a decovery. There is no recovery. In fact, things are getting worse, and we're going to go over some numbers, but again, I just want to reiterate, you all knew this. If you've been on this channel, you knew this was going to happen. Things are going to continue to unfold, get worse. The stimulus that's being pumped out there to people, to the banks, the financial system, the bank deregulation, the assistance programs, it's all going to have to continue. Otherwise, it's complete collapse, Mad Max. Now, your timing, let me know what you think down in the comments, but I think something big is going to be happening here very, very soon. And the things that we already predicted back in mid-December, those things have already happened. The craziness, the insanity, the unrest, in my opinion, is going to continue to escalate. And it's going to be a very good mask, or a very good scapegoat for, I think, the horror show that's going to continue. And that was the title of our last video, the economic horror show. Well, it's going to continue, and it's going to get scarier. Let's take a look at some recent news here. Recent headline out of CNBC, almost 3 million people fell off the unemployment benefits cliff. So you know what's going to happen now. They will no longer be counted in the official unemployment statistics. That means they can continue to claim that unemployment is actually less than 10%. But when you look at the real numbers, we know that we're still above 20%. And if you look at the labor force participation rate with 100 million people still out of the labor force, if you want to just look at the raw number, we're closer to between 40 and 50%. All right, now some people are retired and some people are too young to fit into the unemployment category, but you get the picture. The real scene is much worse than the numbers that are being floated out there. If anyone believes the official numbers at this point, you need to take a look at the mirror and ask yourself, what is the motivation for putting out these false numbers? Right? If the real numbers were given out there, there would be massive, massive panic, because people would look at those numbers and just be flabbergasted at the reality of the situation. Well, that's what this channel does. We give you the reality of the situation. It's not always good. It's not always a rosy sunshine picture. I wish I did have better news for you, but this is the reality. So 3 million people fell off the unemployment benefits cliff. Maybe they'll find a way to extend these unemployment benefits. I wouldn't be surprised. But as we go along, more and more people are falling under this category of people that need assistance, right? Hardly anyone now is self-sufficient in many ways financially. When you look at the food supply, I'd say less than 1% of the population is actually completely self-sufficient. And that's pretty scary. And that's what's going to make this next economic downturn, collapse, Great Depression 2.0, many names it can go under, many titles. It's going to make it much worse than the Great Depression from the 1930s, because so many more people now are dependent on handouts, and a very small percentage of the population is actually self-sufficient. Again, less than 1% of the population is self-sufficient, meaning no financial assistance, no handouts, no payouts, source their own food, source their own energy. And when you look at it like that, I would think it's even a fraction of 1%. I would say 0.01%. Okay, there's never been a comprehensive study that gets that exact number, but that's based on my assessment. I think that's pretty accurate. CNBC article again just came out today. Jobless claims show modest decline as Congress works on more stimulus. So the headline sounds pretty good, right? Modest decline. Modest decline from what? Well, let's go down into the article. Let's take a look at the chart here. First of all, the number is absolutely awful, horrific. Another 900,000 new jobless filings. Absolutely horrific. But here's what they're calling a modest decline, which on the surface sounds good. But they're just looking at the previous week. So instead of 925,000, it's 900,000. But when you look at the past few weeks, we're on an upward trajectory. Right? So instead of improving in a constant decline in new jobless filings, it's now starting to tick up again. All right, and I have to refer back to a comment that someone put out there a few weeks ago, pretty soon there's going to be no jobs left to lose, right? These are new jobless filings. So if and when the number does start going down, they're going to paint it as something good. They'll paint it as something positive, but it may be that there's no more jobs left to lose, right? What's going to happen when 60, 70, 80% of people are on some sort of payout, UBI, enhanced extended unemployment benefits, right? Pretty soon it's going to get down to a very small percentage of the population that's going to be employed. And guess what? They're going to try to go after those people that are still working and try to get those people to pay for everyone else that's not working. You see how this works? You see how the system was designed to crush anyone that actually is still able to work and have an income? Right? This system was designed to crush innovation, crush hard work, designed to crush anyone out there looking to obtain the American dream and create your own lifestyle, create your own success. Right? They will go after you as the breadwinner and tell you and convince you that you're the one that has to pay for everything else and everyone else that's not working. Right? You have to pay for the schools, give us more of your paycheck. You have to pay for the roads, give us more of your paycheck. In the meantime, trillions of dollars are being pumped into Wall Street, but you're still convinced that they have to take your paycheck to pay for these other luxuries. Let's call them luxuries. Right? So keeping you in the dark, keeping you clueless is the name of the game. That's how they get more power. All right, when we say they, we talk about the lawmakers and the groups or individuals that the lawmakers work for. Right? And I think you know who those people are by now. All right, so this is the positive headline of the day. Instead of 925,000 new jobless filings, it's 900,000. I mean, how much more insane can it get to paint that as something positive? All right, over the past 4 years, the wealth gap has widened. The richer have gained more wealth over the past 4 years than any other 4-year period in history. That is a fact. But yet people are still crying and whining and arguing about their man, leaving and the new guy coming in. But it's absolutely insane. Nothing's going to change. There may be bigger stimulus checks sent out, maybe not. We'll have to see. But that's the name of the game. It's going to be the people now are dependent. Everybody's begging for paychecks. Everybody's begging for payouts and handouts to help them get by. In the meantime, the money machine, the money monster, continues to cause inflation, rising prices, endless propping of the banking system, deregulation. Banks lend out unlimited amounts of money, no reserve requirement, bubbles galore. And it's going to come to an end, and it's going to be a very, very brutal ending. And something's going to pop out of nowhere. Black swan, white swan. Your guess is as good as mine. But there will be a reckoning day. This whole thing is going to get reversed. You're going to see massive deflation, massive sell-offs. You need to be very, very careful and continue to prepare right now. Get yourself hard assets. Try to be self-sufficient as possible. I'm not all the way there yet. I'm well aware that I need to get in a better position. I'm looking to move out to the country. Maybe in California somewhere, maybe sort of in the mountains, maybe out of California. Right now things are too crazy as far as prices and other things happening in my life, but I'm continuing to prepare the best I can in my current location, sheltering in place for now. But the people in the best position are going to be not off the grid, maybe, but it's very difficult to be completely off the grid, but as self-sufficient as possible. Solar energy, your own source of food, a garden. All right, preparations, water, safety. All right, be able to defend yourself, be able to protect what you have, your life and your property. All right, but more numbers to get into here. Speaking of the wealth transfer and the mega rich getting richer and wealthier, let's take a look at this. Goldman Sachs profits more than double despite the pandemic. You see how this works? The little guy, the small business gets shut down, gets decimated, is now reliant on government assistance. Meantime, the billionaires are laughing all the way to the bank. Goldman Sachs profits more than double. Right? More than double. Has your wage more than doubled? More than doubled since the pandemic, which began less than a year ago? Has the assistance that you've been given, if you are dependent on a payout, has your assistance doubled? Maybe you're on unemployment. Has unemployment doubled? No, but Goldman Sachs, their profits double during a pandemic. I mean, how sick is that? More job losses. The Keystone Pipeline, about 1,000 jobs are going to be gone. That project has been killed. I understand it's kind of a controversial project, but the fact is you've got 1,000 more people that are going to, one, have to find a new line of work, which is going to be very difficult, or two, 1,000 more people waiting for their unemployment check, waiting for a handout, waiting for a payout. Right, you see where this goes? I mean, come on, you get it by now. This is not going to get better unless we see something massive, massive come in and transform this financial system. Right, this economic collapse is going to be the worst that any of us have ever seen, even if you're up in your 70s, 80s, 90s. And even if you lived through the Great Depression, I think this is going to be even worse than that because, again, more people are reliant on a payout. Hardly anyone, a fraction of 1% of people that are self-sufficient. Right, if you go back to the Great Depression, more people were homesteaders, more people farmed, more people canned their own food, grew their own food. More people had real-life skills that could actually help their neighbors and help their communities with work and repairs. A lot more people had real-life skills back then. Now it's a lot of people that sit in cubicles and type on keyboards and not many real-life skills. But that's another thing for survival and what's going to be headed here very soon, in my opinion. It's going to go back to basics, back to real-life skills, self-sufficiency. What can you do to help your fellow man, your neighbors, your community? It's going to get back to that. Your guess is as good as mine on the timing, but I think something very big is coming within the next few months. The prediction that I made back in mid-December, those things have already unfolded. Continue to watch until the end of January as more craziness, more insanity unfolds. And I think you better continue to prepare safety because when this thing starts to unfold, you're going to see, who knows, mobs, more unrest, probably fires set, and a whole lot more. Stay safe, everybody. Stay aware of your surroundings at all times. It's going to get dangerous. Stay well, stay safe, stay prepared. Bye for now, everybody. Peace.